Part 26. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 251. Chapter 251, Hushfi. Back to the light. Several people present were silent. Danzo longed for something for a lifetime, but in the end, he stepped out of the bottom line. That is to say, Danzo died quietly while taking away all the elite of Gen on the way to the land of rain. After a while, Hirozuru Sarutobi spoke in a low voice. Noon, what is the last task they will perform? Third Amu, the route task document. I am in charge of only records that they went to the land of rain, but the task content is the highest level of the team led by Lord Danzo. I have no way of knowing that such a mission was personally assigned by Lord Danzo on the way or after arriving at the mission location. Wu replied bitterly, now he is in a situation where he is at a loss, the roots have almost disappeared, existing in name only, so what is the value of the self cultivated by the roots since childhood? If the roots are dark, then as a former elite, I am basically too dark to melt away. Hiruzen Sarutobi fell into silence again, and in the entire conference hall, it seemed that only the sound of him smoking a pipe could be heard. After a long time, he suddenly spoke. It's been one night since Danzo was found dead. Yan, when I came to report yesterday noon, Wu, what were you doing? Mitamonyan flipped through the documents in his hand in silence, his voice did not fluctuate. The battle report here was sent through the portal this morning, so it should be the latest and fastest. Satoru fought with Onaki and Han all day yesterday, without leaving the battlefield the whole time, huh? Pushing his glasses in disbelief, Mitamonyan was almost lying on the battle report. Looking at the photo on the battle report, he couldn't help but exclaimed. What is this? What's wrong? Hirozuru Sarutobi and the others looked at Mitamonyan, who had always been calm, in surprise. Is there a problem with the report? No. I haven't had time to read the battle report yet, Wu, that kid has done something amazing again. With a wry smile, he handed the battle report to Hirozuru Sarutobi, and Koharu, who turned to sleep, also came over, and even Sakumo Hatake and Noon, who was still half kneeling, looked away. In the photo accompanying the battle report, Wu holds an ice crystal staff and stands on top of a huge steel monster. It holds a huge machete in each hand, and it is as daunting as a demon god. Flying in the air, Onaki with a ferocious face, and Han with a tail behind him, who apparently borrowed the tail beast chakra, are confronting Satoru and the steel monster under his feet. This is... Hirozuru Sarutobi opened his mouth wide, and didn't even notice that the pipe in his mouth fell off. His hands trembled, his eyes moved down. The following is a detailed battle report from Hinata Nichize. War Mecha, a shield that even dust can't break. Han's physical skills are helpless, with simple intelligence, pure physical destructive power destroyed all of Yan Yin's fortifications. This is what Satoru once studied with Orochimaru, the war puppet. Hirozuru Sarutobi only felt a surge of enthusiasm in his blood. This thing doesn't need a puppeteer to control it. No wonder it's called a war mecha. Wait. Hirozuru Sarutobi suddenly remembered, the pet robot cat that Satoru had shown to the higher UPS. As well as half a dragon vein. So it is. It turns out that this kid's so-called research is this, amazing, ha ha ha. Amazing. Giant war puppet technology, smart technology of pet Doraemon, and almost endless chakra of half a dragon vein. The result of their fusion is what Sarutobi Hiruzen saw, the war mecha. It's just a semi-finished product, it already has such power, so how amazing the finished product will be. Sarutobi Hiruzen originally thought that a big killer like the portal would have subverted the rules of war, but the appearance of the war mech once again refreshed his three views. How many ninja sacrifices can be avoided? Turning to bed, Xiaochun was very excited. Rijan, with this kind of mechs charging into the battle, If the ninjas follow the army to cover up and kill, the mode of war will be changed. The third generation, this is really amazing, so I said, I really can't replace Satoru. Hatake Sakumo touched the white fang on the back, and smiled wryly. This kid has already surpassed me a lot. Strangely, Wu felt nothing. Maybe it's because he's used to being attacked by Wu Wu. When he's hostile, he can't even stand firm in front of him. However, as a Konoha ninja, it's really great to have such a strong man in the village. This time, this old man, was completely hidden by him. It's really. Mito Manyan shook his head with a wry smile, and sighed helplessly. Old man, my son doesn't bother to talk to me anymore. Snored. Too lazy to pay attention to Mito Manyan's hypocrisy, Hirozuru Sarutobi read the battle report carefully again, dragging a pipe with his left hand, and tapped the fingers of his right hand on the table. The timing is too coincidental. This kid has such a powerful creation, but he just took it out at this time. Humph, is this a coincidence? Ghost letter. Deter opponents. Show strength. Share the stress. Or, hush money. After a long silence, Hirozuru Sarutobi finally let out a wry smile. Because no matter how you look at it, the strength and ability displayed by Wu is one of the few people who can wipe out Danzo and his party in a short time, one of the few people. Other suspicious people include the leader of Yuyan village, Sanjiayu Hanzo. As for Hidden Sand village, which seems to be planning some action, although they can take a detour from the Land of Rain to avoid the Uchiha line of defense in the Kingdom of Kawa. But even the new 4th Kazekage does not have the strength to make Danzo unable to escape. Judging from Danzo's last mission, he went to Yuyan village, but it is possible that Hanzo temporarily betrayed him and plotted against him. But is Hanzo guilty of offending Konoha, the arch-enemy, in order to backstab his allies? Although Konoha is now being attacked from all sides, this is not the Second Ninja World War, and Konoha is not the same as Konoha at that time. Even if Hanzo can produce evidence that Danzo colluded with him to assassinate the 3rd Hokage, Konoha would never admit it. Hanzo, there is nothing to gain from this matter. And if Danzo's actions are known to Wu, who originally disliked him. With the mobility of Wu Fei's Thunder God technique and his powerful strength, Sarutobi Hiruzen is almost certain that Wu Quan will wipe out Danzo and his men without any psychological pressure. So, Sakumo, order Umbu to go deep into the Land of Rain and investigate Hanzo's whereabouts. Sarutobi Hiruzen finally gave the order. Hanzo has a great relationship with Danzo's death, tell them to find out all the details. Yes, 3rd generation. Yan, for the next time, you take Wu and check the routes, carefully. Danzo's figure gradually sinking into the darkness flashed in front of his eyes. Sarutobi Hiruzen let out a long sigh. The matter of Danzang will always be kept secret until the truth comes out. Yes. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziyu. Chapter 252. Chapter 252 Akatsuki's Discovery. In the Land of Rain, Yahiko, Nagato, Konan, and Kakutsu settled down their companion's body, and returned to the hut that Jiraiya left them with a low mood. The official war with Hanzo means that the current Akatsuki is nominally in a state of hostility to the Rain Country regime. The original base must never be visited again. Besides, there were only 4 of them left in Akatsuki. Now, maybe Hanzo has classified us as traitors. Yahiko clutched his chest tightly. He didn't have time to think about it when he was fighting, but now, he felt that the endless pain was about to overwhelm him. I was clearly prepared, but I still sacrificed so many companions. I really am an idiot. Yahiko, it's not your fault. Danzo will collude with Hanzo. This is something no one would have imagined. Zionan sat beside Yahiko, comforting softly. Before they died, they pinned their hopes on you, and they always believed in your ideals until they died. Yahiko, you must cheer up, we are still here, Akatsuki is still here. Now, on our shoulders, we also carry their wishes. Yes, you are right, Xiaonan. After a long silence, Yahiko's eyes finally recovered. Huh, we are still alive, and we must live with their hope. Yahiko, as long as you are here, Akatsuki will always be there. Seeing that Yahiko finally recovered, Nagato secretly heaved a sigh of relief. If Yahiko was in a mess, he didn't know what to do. Nagato, without you, we would have died just now, that's right. Mr. Kakuto. Yahiko looked at the silent Kakutsu, and now he was not covered by a robe, and he finally looked more like a bounty hunter than a treasurer. Just now, you informed senior brother Wu. Well, but it's just this one chance, and the things have been used up. Jiaoda spread his hands, and gave him the special arcane crystal enlightenment, but it should be used here. Master Wu must have been here, and you have noticed the leader, but he should be in charge of the war with Yanyan village now, so he can't show up. If Brother Wu didn't come over, I'm afraid we won't be able to hold on. Nagato, are you okay, your face? Yahiko didn't care about Kakuto's presence. On the one hand, Kakuto really won their trust, on the other hand, he was really worried about Nagato. Even now, he has not forgotten what Wu told him. The appearance of the reincarnation eye is strange, you must be careful when using the reincarnation eye. Wu will not aim at nothing. Over the years, with Wu's help, they have been able to meet Jiraiya every year, and their research on reincarnation eyes has not stopped. But apart from changing the nature of the 6 chakras that ordinary people can hardly learn from Nagato, the special features of the eyes of reincarnation have never been revealed. Nagato awakened the ability of Samsara Eye in this battle, and Yahiko finally understood why Samsara Eye is called the most noble of the 3 pupil techniques. That power is already close to that of a god. Although Nagato is still unable to use it proficiently, it is only a matter of time. But such a powerful force cannot come without a price. He didn't notice it during the battle, but now that he's quiet, Yahiko has noticed that Nagato's face seems to have lost weight a little. It's okay, probably because I was not proficient in mastering the power of the reincarnation eye at the beginning, and I overdrawn my chakra. Nagato touched his face, shook his head and said with a smile. As you become more proficient, there will be no problem. Although the eye of reincarnation consumes a lot of chakra, I feel that it is still within my load range. Although I have some doubts about why my eyes have brought such a heavy burden to me, on the one hand, there is a huge chakra brought by the blood of the Uzumaki family, and on the other hand, the power displayed by the eyes of reincarnation is really amazing. With this power, it is normal to consume more. Temporarily dispelling the little doubts in his heart, Nagato turned to ask Yahiko. Then Yahiko, what should we do next? If Hanzo starts to arrest us across the country, we will be in trouble. Well, we don't know what Hanzo will do next, so we can only collect information first. Yahiko stared at Nagato carefully for a while, making sure that he was really okay, and then began to think about the next thing. Although there are only 4 of us left in our organization, our target has also become smaller accordingly. It is not easy for Hanzo to find us. We must first confirm Hanzo's next move. Yahiko looked worriedly at the still raining sky outside the house. There is also Danzo. If he returns to Konoha and gathers Konoha's troops to attack the land of rain, it will be troublesome. Konoha is now at war with the 3 major powers, and they have to guard against Sand Hidden Village. Do they really have the energy to deal with the land of rain? Xiaonan was using medical ninjutsu to bandage and treat the 3 of them. Hearing this, he became puzzled. Before, Konoha didn't even set up fortifications on the border of the Kingdom of Rain, only sporadic patrols. Their strength should have been stretched. Never underestimate Konoha. Yahiko scratched his hair in distress. Thinking about the names of those strong Konohas, I can't help but feel discouraged, but thinking of teacher Jiraiya and senior brother Wu, I am very contradictory. Nagato didn't say anything this time. In the final analysis, he was favored by Konoha Ninja, but his parents also died at the hands of Konoha Ninja. He is not a saint. As long as Yahiko is alive, he is willing to bury this hatred in his heart and look at Konoha from an objective perspective. But the appearance of Danzo this time will undoubtedly have a negative impact on Konoha's impression in his heart. Leave the information gathering to me. All the corners that had been silent for a while stood up. I am quite familiar with Yuyan village, no matter when I was doing business or in Xiao. It is very important to find out Hanzo's next move in a timely manner. I will go to find out the news right away, and you, the leaders, stand still first. The corners are heading towards the door. The most important thing is to take out the money in the bank. Mr. Kakuzu, don't force yourself. The corner of Yahiko's mouth twitched, and he hurriedly said. The money matter can be put aside first, and everything is safe. Don't worry, leader, I understand. Gyaudu waved his hand, opened the door and walked out, disappearing into the rain. The three of Yahiko looked at each other, and saw the same complaint in each other's eyes. He must be in such a hurry to get the money. But within 2 days, the news that Gyaudu brought back made them stunned. Boss, things are unusual. Changed into a new robe, he put several large waterproof boxes on the ground, and amidst the strange expressions of the three of Yahiko, he said seriously the news he had inquired about. Hanzo, you're missing. What? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 253. Chapter 253, Yahiko's small goal. Hanzo hasn't returned to Yuyan village since the battle with us, and no order has been sent. A strange color flashed across Gyaudu's green eyes. Furthermore, none of Hanzo's ninjas have ever returned. I checked from Hidden Rain village to the place where the previous battle took place, and there were no traces of battle. Seeing the wonderful expressions of the three of Yahiko, Kakuta paused, and added. However, there was a large lake on the road where I remember it was originally a flat land. I dived into it, and I can basically confirm that it was formed not long ago. Could it be? The three of Yahiko made a guess in an instant. Yahiko recalled that at that time, when the cold energy Satoru helped him gather disappeared, it seemed to be the time when Hanzo led his people to retreat. Could it be that at that time, senior brother Wu went after Hanzo? Yahiko murmured, full of disbelief. That's Hanzo. Could it be that brother Wu silently killed him and so many Yuyan elites? Gyaudu is very familiar with the environment around Yuyan village, so he can see that there was no lake there. But ordinary people, who would have noticed that the land of rain, where water is everywhere, had a lake? There aren't even civilians around there. Based on what they learned, Wu has the strength and the right time, only Wu. Let's use disappearance to define Hanzo for the time being. There is another situation that many people in Yuyan village have not noticed. Gyaudu's complexion became even weirder. I met the people from Konoha Anbi in Yuyan village. Konoha Anbi. Yahiko frowned. Mr. Kakuto, are you sure that's Anbi, not the root of Danzo? I'm sure. Umbu's mask is slightly different from his roots. Most people don't know it, but I know very well that Master Wu also served as Umbu. Gyaudu nodded, and then his tone was full of disbelief. But they also seemed to be asking about Hanzo in secret, and the Umbu I noticed, after knowing that Hanzo had disappeared, once blurted out in shock. Hanzo is dead too. Also dead? All three of Yahiko opened their eyes wide. Konoha Anbi are all Konoha's elite ninjas. If they are not strong like Kakuzu, they will definitely not be able to follow them without being discovered. And who can be mentioned by Konoha Anbi and Hanzo together, and question death? Could it be The four looked at each other for a while, and said a name at the same time. Danzo. Brother Wu, won't he kill Danzo too? Yahiko rubbed his forehead fiercely. It's crazy, Brother Wu, but thinking about it carefully, it doesn't seem impossible. Why? Looking at Yahiko's pensive expression, Nagato still feels incredible. Danzo is a high-ranking member of Konoha, and he is also an old comrade in arms of Brother Wu's father. He just killed him so neatly. Nagato, although Mr. Kakuto said that the relationship between Danzo and Brother Wu is not very good, but Brother Wu chose to do it at this time. Yahiko squeezed his fist hard. Don't forget what Hanzo said before retreating. Which sentence? Nagato woke up. He said that Danzo cooperated with him to assassinate the third Hokage. That's right. Gyoudu also suddenly realized. That makes sense. Master Wu went after Hanzo first. He must have obtained evidence from Hanzo before he turned to kill Danzo. Danzo's behavior is undoubtedly a betrayal of the village. That's why Senior Brother Wu killed him neatly. Danzo is looking for death. There was joy in Zionen's eyes. When Danzo attacked Akatsuki's team, he wanted to take her hostage. If the four of them hadn't been vigilant, maybe he would have succeeded. Konan couldn't imagine what Danzo and Hanzo would do if he was used as a hostage to blackmail Yahiko and Nagato with the dark and despicable appearance of Danzo and Hanzo. It should be like this, that's right, but Konoha's side obviously set the target on Hanzo, which means that they now suspect that Hanzo and Danzo have conflicts. This is really a good coincidence. Gyoudu smiled coldly. If all of this was arranged by Wu-sama, I wouldn't be surprised. No wonder he wanted to use the lake to cover up the battle traces. The Konoha Anbi gang would never have thought of it anyway. So, our crisis should be considered lifted. Yahiko let out a sigh of relief. These few news were simply too shocking. The two giant ninjas disappeared in such a short period of time, and it is very likely that they fell into the hands of the same person. Then, next, we must stick to our actions even if there are only a few of us. Peaceful negotiations cannot stop. Without Hanzo's leadership, Yuyan village should no longer be hostile to us. Oh. Leader, it can be said that Yuyan village has lost its elite and is vulnerable. Have you ever thought about taking over Yuyan village? Gyoudu glanced at several large boxes on the ground, and a golden light seemed to flash in his eyes. That's the Hidden Rain village where Hanzo used to sit. The Hidden Rain village that was able to face the three kingdoms in the last war. If you master it, how much money will it have? I mean, how big will it be for the organization's goals? Help. Yahiko was silent. Yahiko, what Mr. Kakutsu said is not unreasonable. If you use Yuyan village as the foundation, you can use Akatsuki's goal as the ruling program in an official capacity, and gradually change the entire country. After thinking carefully for a moment, although Nagato wanted to complain about certain words in Kakuto's words, he had to admit that this was indeed a good idea. If you come to take charge of Yuyan village, we can directly initiate peaceful negotiations with the three major powers. Nagato, it's not enough yet. After a long time, Yahiko finally spoke. His eyes were full of firmness. Nagato couldn't help being stunned. Although Akatsuki's current influence is not small, it has not yet reached the level of replacing Hanzo. Even if he dies, we are now in control of Yuyan village, and we are just taking advantage of it. We must use our own efforts to let everyone see that we can bring hope to this country and let everyone know that we are not usurpers who seize power by force, but innovators of the country. Yahiko's eyes became brighter and brighter. Following his narration, Nagato, Konan, and even Kakuzu all showed a smile. Yahiko, we will always support you, do what you want. Zionen couldn't help but stepped forward to hold Yahiko's hand, making the impassioned young man blush suddenly. Am I being too idealistic? No, Yahiko, what you said is right. If we use force to seize power, what difference is there between us and Hanzo? Nagato took a step back calmly, and also greeted the inexplicable Kakozu together. Then, let's prepare the food and take a step first. Huh. It's not time for dinner, is it? Mr. Jiaodu, you are really, Wang Xiangtianyan. Ah. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziyu. Chapter 254. Chapter 254 Increase of troops along the eastern coast, National Day 4th Update 47. In Konoha's war against the three major powers, due to the strength of the leaders on each front, the strength of one front firmly withstood the offensive of the other country. Although it was a defensive battle, there was a big killer like the portal, and the medical team led by Tsunade. The major defense lines turned the war into a tug of war. But whether it is Konoha's senior management, or Tukage, Reikage, and Mizukage, they all know that it is impossible to drag the war on like this. On the one hand, Konoha is using the war to hone the new generation of ninjas, and on the other hand, he is also waiting for the new achievements of Satoru that can seal the victory. The Chunin exam was successfully completed under the situation of being attacked from three sides. Konoha's new generation of Chunin is about to go to the battlefield. Shiranui Genma, Matkai, Ebisu, Sarutobi Asuma, Kurani Yui, Shizun who are newly promoted as Chunin. As well as the commander of the Yuno defense line, the disciple of Yellow Flash Namikaze Minato, the newly promoted Uchiha Obito and No Hararin who have become Chunin, and Heitake Kakashi who is already a senior Chunin. In the original timeline, Obito Uchiha took more than one Chunin exam to become a Chunin, but now, he passed it once. Probably because of the stimulation of the better Kakashi. The current Uchiha Obito is much stronger than in the original timeline. However, he still failed to open Sharingan. Also, the problem of always being late has not changed. However, due to Satoru, the wife of the patriarch of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Mikoto, noticed this clansman who was very similar to her own personality when she was a child, and took care of her somewhat. Moreover, Uchiha Mikoto's best friend and also Namikaze Minato's girlfriend Kushina Uzumaki, among the three disciples of Minato, actually likes Uchiha Obito the most. Because in her opinion, the stupid Obito is much cuter than the shrewd Kakashi, and she appreciates Obito's resilience very much. It's just that the way she showed her concern was a little rude. During Minato's absence, Kushina took Minato's three disciples for training, including the Chunin exam, and Kushina was actually taking care of them. Although according to Kakashi, his presence is enough. But Obito Uchiha would never accept that he was taken care of by Kakashi. Now, the Minato team, which is full of Chunin, is tasked with helping their teacher, who is in Minato Namikaze on the Yuno defense line. Yuno's line of defense is really too long. Even though Minato has such a powerful maneuver as the Flying Thunder God Jutsu, his opponents are the combination of Union Village, Ai, the son of the third generation of Reikage known as Blue Lightning, and Yaoruki Rabbi. After a long period of war, Kiribi seems to be getting closer to the legendary realm, perfect human strength. This also makes him more and more difficult to deal with, but Minato is not standing still. Now is the time to send his disciples to the front line to play a huge role. The direction of support for Shiranui Genma, Matkai, and Ebisu is the defense line in charge of the eastern coast Ashimaru. Other newly promoted Chunin, such as Sarutobi Asuma, Yuhihong, Shizun, and others, were also sent there. Orochimaru and Nakoki master and apprentice teamed up to steadily suppress the Kirigakure ninja who came across the sea, but the recent situation is not good. Uian village didn't know what method was used. It could almost be said that they had insight into the deployment of Konoha's defense line, and the mysterious assassination often caused the defense line to collapse. Orochimaru had to fight alone against Mizukage, who has the advantage of the sea, and Roki, who has a stronger defense, supported the battlefield and dealt with another group of difficult characters. There are 7 ninja swordsmen. Not only that, the Kagaya clan of war madmen who are famous for enjoying crazy wars in Wuyan village also appeared on the battlefield. This has increased the pressure on the defense line along the eastern coast. Therefore, Konoha's latest strategic inclination is to increase troops to this line of defense. To this end, Konoha even dispatched a special jounin known for its powerful attack power, Mat Kai's father, Taijutsu Ninja Mat Dai. The defense line along the eastern coast fell into a stalemate again due to Konoha's timely increase of troops. Perfect. In the secret underground laboratory of Chuanyo country, Baileahu looked at the experimental subjects sent by Ju, and was very pleasantly surprised. This is the Snow clan who owns the Ice Escape blood inheritance boundary. You actually found it? Of course, since we have agreed to this deal, we will do what we say. By the way, your side is not very safe, do you want to change places? Ju still only showed one head, making Baileahu have to look down at him when talking to him, full of an inexplicable sense of refreshment. The situation in the country of Kawano is becoming more and more tense. The spies and vanguard troops of Hidden Sand Village have fought against Uchiha's reconnaissance team several times. It seems that Sand Hidden Village can't help but want to participate in this battle. Baileahu's eyes became greedy. Sharinan, humph, not all the Uchiha guys have turned on Sharinan, and I'm not interested in those one and two Godama ones. But in Sand Hidden Village, I heard that the 4th Kazekij's blood successor boundary is magnetic escape. This is not a conventional blood succession boundary. Sharinan is easy to talk about, even if it's Sangoyu. Knowing what Baileahu meant, he shook his head resolutely. You don't have to think about magnetic escape, even in Sand Hidden Village, it is exclusive to Kazekage. That is to say, there are only 4 Kazekages and Ichio Jinchuriki who can escape from Sand Hidden Village, but these 2 are not targets that can be moved now. It's a pity, but Sharinan is not a escapism type blood succession limit after all. Even if it can be merged, it should be put at the end. Baileahu was just trying it out, of course he knew the difficulty of obtaining magnetic escape. But it's always good to be prepared. Once Sandyan and Uchiha go to war, Sharinan will not be a problem, right? Well, I'll keep an eye on Uchiha during this time, no problem. Absolutely made a gesture, and then asked. Then you now have 2 types of blood inheritance boundaries, how is the research going? The theory has gradually taken shape, but it is only to the extent that the 2 blood successors can be safely fused together. It will take time to achieve the fusion of the 5 blood successors and achieve immortality. The more fusions, the more difficult it is. In theory, 5 is the limit, but it will take a lot of time to perfect the details later. Oh. The bones of the Hui clan are also good, but they don't seem to have a clan that perfectly inherits this line of blood. Other escapism-like blood succession limits still need to be investigated. After all, blood successor boundary is still very rare, and every blood successor ninja is an absolutely important object of protection corresponding to Yinkan. If it wasn't for the special circumstances, even the Ice Dun of the Snow clan would be hard to get. That's it? Baileahu thought about it carefully, then nodded. It's best to be able to gather all the escape techniques that correspond to the changes in the nature of the 5 chakras, and it will be perfect. To show my sincerity, I will first experiment with the secret technique on myself. Let's start with Ice Escape. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 255. Chapter 255 Onaki's New Action. Han, is Lao Zi still okay? Another day of turbulent war ended, Tsuchikage Onoki anxiously asked the 5 Tails Jinchurikin. It's unreasonable, how absurd it is that the infiltration battle has turned into a positional battle. Moreover, the battle damage of Konoha's gang is terribly low. Could it be that they sent all the best medical ninjas here? Old Zi can basically confirm that Union Village has indeed been held back by Konoha's other line of defense, unable to attack us like in the last war. Han spread his hands. As Ren's Huli, he also had a splitting headache against Konoha's line of defense. The Archmage on the opposite side was simply resolute and refused to give an inch. If you can't attack by force, you have to change your tactics, otherwise you will be dragged here and you won't get any results. Even Oniki can't withstand the pressure from all sides. Basically, it can be confirmed. Then when will you support here? Well, it will take about a week to prepare and march. Han's answer made Onoki's forehead bulge. 1 more week. Well, it's not too late, but after another week, I'm afraid the subordinates will start to get tired of fighting. Onoki paced back and forth with his hands behind his back. This war has dragged on for too long, and even if Lao Zi came, he couldn't turn the tide of the battle. Thinking that Wu alone can resist him and Han, plus the war puppet, even if Lao Zi comes, he can at most suppress the other party. If you want to penetrate the opponent's line of defense with an absolute advantage, you must find another way. So, Han, you tell Lao Zi not to come over in a hurry, so. Oh, I got it. The Land of Winds, Sand-Hidden Village. After more than a year of hard work, Shayin village finally regained its vitality under the leadership of the 4th generation of Kazekage Luosha. Luosha's magnetic escape is not only a powerful deterrent, it can also collect gold dust in exchange for funds and resources needed by the village. This is also the reason why Shayin village recovered so quickly. As the vitality of the village recovered, they were naturally unwilling to miss the Third Ninja World War, which was in full swing. If you can't get enough benefits in this war, won't other villages surpass you by a fraction? Moreover, the daimyo of the country of the wind has expressed strong dissatisfaction with the Hidden Sand Village. In this battle, the performance of Hidden Sand Village was too disappointing. In order to avoid the consequences of being cut in military expenditure, Shayin village must use war to prove its strength and value. But Konoha had never relaxed its vigilance against Sand-Hidden Village as early as the war started. Although Sand-Hidden Village used Kawa no Kokura as a buffer to stir up chaos and try to disrupt Konoha's line of defense, they were unmoved at all. The wandering ninjas and scattered forces in Chuanzi country are simply useless, and they can't even consume the power of Konoha's defense line. Kazekage Building, Council Hall, 4th Kazekage Raza, advisors Cho and Ebizo are discussing the direction of the next war. A huge war map was placed in front of them, and the distribution of war forces that could be ascertained by current intelligence was clearly marked on the map. Cho is still very concerned about the disappearance of her grandson, and Scorpio is just like Sande Kazekage, as if the world has evaporated. However, the current situation in the village cannot do without her, and Cho understands it very well. Fortunately, the sand-hidden spy who was in the country of Sichuan a while ago, it is said that he saw the trace of the scorpion, which made her feel relieved. As long as you're alive, that's fine. That's the Uchiha clan. I didn't expect Konoha's third Hokage to actually send them to the battlefield. Luosha's finger moved away from the Uchiha mark on the border between the Kingdom of Kawa and the Kingdom of Fire, squeezed the space between her eyebrows, and looked at Ebizo. Could it be that the rumors that the Uchiha clan and Konoha's high-level officials are at odds are false? The rumors should be true, but it is also true that Konoha's current strength is stretched. They are maintaining 3 major battlefields and 4 lines of defense at the same time. Hai Laozang hesitated for a moment, but still shook his head. Replace it with our sand-hidden village, can we do it? Can't do it? Although it is a pity, Luosha understands that not to mention the current Shayin village, even Yunyan village and Yunyan village cannot do it. Only Konoha. That's why Konoha will become the thorn in the side of the 4 great hidden villages. Even if there is only a small part of the benefits obtained by attacking Konoha, it is enough for the 4 great hidden villages to absorb. Their background is really too deep. Hai Laozang shook his head and sighed. It's as strong as the 3rd generation of Tukage Onoji and the 3rd generation of Reikage Ai, who can only stop in front of Konoha's defense line. If we rashly attack Uchiha's defense line, I am afraid the chances of winning are slim. Joe frowned deeply, and his eyes moved around the kingdom of the wind. In the land of rain, that old ghost Hanzo has been silent for a long time. Hanzo has learned to be good this time, and he is not as rampant as in the last war. Hai Laozang snorted coldly. He hasn't even shown his face for a long time, and there are rumors of his disappearance in Yuyan village. What does he want to do? Could it be that he is making way for that new force called Xiao? Pointing to the location of the land of rain, Ebizo taunted unceremoniously. Although Hanzo is famous for admiring the younger generation, but he praises a few young people like this. Could it be that Akatsuki's leader is his son? No, advisor Ebizo. Luosha tapped lightly on the location of the Kingdom of Rain, thought for a moment, and suddenly said. Hanzo controls Yuyan village with great power. If he hasn't shown up for so long, it will obviously affect his rule. What if something happened to him and he can't show up? What happened? Joe and Ebino were taken aback for a moment. If this is really the case. Two advisors, please take a look. Luosha's finger moved to the border between the land of rain and the land of fire. If Konoha didn't set up defenses here when the war started, it was because of insufficient troops, or because they didn't react, but now the war has been going on for so long. Konoha didn't seem to care about Rain Country and Hanzo at all. There were no heavy guards at all, just some regular defense forces, which were simply vulnerable. Konoha did this, is it because he knows what's wrong with Hanzo, so he is so relieved to half open the border? Then, can the current land of rain be used as a springboard for a surprise attack on Konoha? This. Fourth generation. Two advisors. A guard's voice sounded outside the door. There is urgent information. Come in. Luosha and the two consultants looked at each other and spoke solemnly. Yes. The guard opened the door and walked in, handed a secret report to Luosha, bowed and retreated. Luosha opened the secret letter, browsed it for a while, and his expression changed. What's wrong? Joe and Ebino saw something wrong with Luosha's expression. Luosha handed the secret letter to Joe and Ebizo. Unexpectedly, someone thought of going with us. 3 generations of Dokajonaki, 4-tailed Jinchuriki of Iwagakure village, the weight of this letter is very heavy. Joe suddenly saw the signature on the secret letter. It seems that they can't hold on anymore, but it's good news for us. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 256. Chapter 256 Yahiko's second goal. On the border between the land of rain and the land of wind, Luosha saw Yanyan ninja in a purple robe, red beard and hair, and armor. 4-tailed Jinchuriki, Lao Zi. Lao Zi led a team of 4, facing the 4th Kazekage Raza, the advisor Cho, and the sand-hidden guards of a dozen people. His expression was flat. Your Excellency Lao Zi, I have already understood the contents of the letter, but I still need to confirm it. Luosha glanced at Joe, who insisted on bringing guards. The corners of his eyes twitched, and he said in a deep voice. The Kingdom of Rain is now, are you sure it can be unimpeded? Hanzo hasn't shown up for a long time. In order to confirm the authenticity of the news, I personally went to Yuyan village. Lao Zi folded his arms, and when his eyes glanced at Yan Yin's guard, he seemed to have a flash of disdain, but he still nodded and said. Although the current Yuyan village looks like it is still operating normally, it seems to be very different from when Hanzo lived. But if it makes a difference. Lao Zi stroked his beard with one hand, frowned and said. It seems, not as gloomy as before? Although I haven't investigated Yuyan village, the situation of the surrounding residents is quite different from the previous information about Yanyan village. It seems. In other words, You still can't judge Hanzo's situation? Cho took a step forward. As Hanzo's old opponent, she knew very well how difficult it was to deal with the man known as Demigod. Disappeared without a sound? How can it be? An elite force from our hidden rock village has entered the range of the Land of Rain, but even so, Hanzo didn't respond. A trace of coldness flashed across old Zi's face. In the past, even if Hanzo didn't show up in person, the spies and assassins from Yuyan village should have appeared long ago. Years of fruitless infiltration into Yuyan village made Lao Zi, a high-ranking officer of Yuyan, understand what this meant. It's so. Cho's face was full of disbelief. She exchanged a look with Luo Sha, and nodded. So, what are Akatsuki's group of young people doing? Luo Sha narrowed her eyes slightly. They also turned a blind eye to your invasion? Akatsuki never takes the initiative to provoke disputes, we just enter the country, not invade. Lao Zi shook his finger and corrected. Also, they seem to be understaffed, although they immediately noticed our presence, but only one person came to negotiate with us. After we promised not to start a war in the Land of Rain, he just watched us from afar. Cho and Luo Sha looked at each other, and both thought of a possibility. For that matter, what is the fourth Kazekich's opinion? Lao Zi looked at the thoughtful Luo Sha. If Sand Hidden Village is willing to cooperate with us, Hanzo is nothing to worry about. Cho-sama alone can guard against Hanzo, isn't it? The record of Cho fighting Hanzo is not a secret, she is the type of ninja who restrained Hanzo the most. Okay, then, we will follow what the third Tsuchikage said, but the details must be discussed clearly. Of course, that's why I'm here. Yuyan village, the central tower, originally belonged to Hanzo's room. Yahiko and Nagato were sitting opposite each other. It's okay for Xionin to follow those Yuyan ninjas. Yahiko was a little nervous. They were just approached by the scattered Rain Hidden ninjas not long ago, asking to take charge of Rain Hidden village. Hanzo didn't show up for too long, and none of his men came back. As the ninjas of Hidden Rain village, they can still detect some clues of Hanzo's actions. Therefore, even if they were not clear about the matter between Hanzo and Akatsuki, they have basically figured it out after such a long time. There are various signs that Hanzo brought his elite to ambush Akatsuki, but the whole army was wiped out and none of them came back. As for Akatsuki, only 4 of them came back but none of their core figures were missing. The results are obvious. Although the 4 of Akatsuki are still committed to peaceful communication as before, the eyes of the Amina ninjas who gradually understood have completely changed their eyes. This is a group of ruthless people. The peace they talk about is not just talk, they really have this strength. At the very least, Hanzo, who wanted to do something to them, should be Ze. They didn't have new recruits, but the 4 people who had experienced that incident were more powerful than the dozen or so people before. Then, what should be done is obvious. Half of Yuyan's strength is based on Hanzo's personal strength. Without Hanzo, and lost a lot of elites, Yuyan village has been in chaos during this period. There must be a strong leadership to end this situation. Otherwise, in this war-torn world, maybe the next moment, Yuyan village, which is strong on the outside and dry on the inside, will be wiped out. Therefore, after going through a period of chaos, Yuyan village still did not have an absolute force to suppress all factions, so it had to send a representative to invite Xiao to come and take charge of Yuyan village. And they still harbor a hope in private. Perhaps, Yuyan village under Xiao's control will really usher in peace. Yahiko's small goal has been achieved. Akatsuki took over Yuyan village as an innovator, not a usurper. It's just that he didn't realize how much strength Nagato and Kazuo had exerted behind their backs. Well, there's no problem. Xiaonan is a strong person bestowed with the title of angel by everyone. She is not the little girl she used to be. Looking at Yahiko's nervous face, Nagato wanted to laugh. Besides, you two have been taking care of me all this time. If I go out by myself, You won't be so worried, will you? Where, however, I will be worried. Seeing Nagato's smiling face, Yahiko felt a little hot on his face. Cough, well, Mr. Kakuto is still obsessed with the accounts of Yuyan village, and the only one who can help me is Nagato. What do those ninjas want to do? They've been here for a while, are they here to check on Hanzo? Well, there should be this reason. Their leader should have been here. My Rain Tiger Freedom technique once sensed that a powerful target appeared nearby. Nagato nodded. However, he left soon, and there has been no movement so far, so he probably didn't come for us. On the contrary, I suspect their target is Konoha. Konoha. Yahiko's expression became tense. Under Senior Brother Wu's suppression, they can still divide their troops. They plan to break into Konoha from our border and attack Senior Brother Wu back and forth. That's why they need to determine Hanzo's situation first? Very likely. In fact, Yanyan and Sandian have never stopped investigating us, but they are afraid of Hanzo's reputation and dare not approach Yuyan village. But Hanzo didn't show up for too long, they finally noticed the abnormality, and I'm afraid Saiyan will not be content with the status quo. After Nagato analyzed, he looked at Yahiko. Do you want to inform Brother Wu, or should we just destroy them all? Yahiko smiled wryly. The power loss of Yuyan village is not small, and it is impossible for us to go against our position and take the initiative to intervene in any war by force. But it may be an opportunity to end this ninja war as soon as possible. Oh. Looking at Yahiko, Nagato's expression became firm, as if he had guessed something. You're thinking? Nagato, please go to Brother Wu personally. Yahiko pondered for a moment, and finally made a decision. I want to make the Land of Rain a neutral country, but this must be done with the help of Konoha. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 257. Chapter 257 Nagato, Special Envoy of the Land of Rain. Neutral country? Like the country of iron? That's right, create an absolutely neutral area in the Land of Rain. No matter whether it is the three major powers or the small countries, as long as they are in the Land of Rain, they are not allowed to go to war. Nagato's target changed from Yahiko to Satoru. With the flying ability of the Eyes of Reincarnation, Nagato quickly took Yahiko's will to the nearby defense line of grass. As the special envoy of Yuyan village, he met with enlightenment very smoothly. Facing his nominal senior who hadn't seen him for a long time, Nagato, who had mostly awakened his reincarnation eyes, was surprised to find that his enlightenment was so powerful. Godlike eyes of reincarnation, it seems, it doesn't take much advantage in front of Wu. Moreover, the feeling on Satoru made Nagato feel kindness for no reason. Unlike when facing Jiraiya, Yahiko, and Konan, this kind of intimacy is not due to interpersonal relationships. And it seems, because of these eyes. What's more, the person in front of him is the one who killed Hanzo. After such a long investigation, Yahiko and Nagato have basically confirmed this matter. I originally thought that your movements would be faster. If Wu had something to say, let Nagato confirm it directly. Yahiko insists on being ourselves first, but now that we have taken charge of Hidden Rain Village, making the Land of Rain the first nation of peace is our next goal. However, in the ninja world where wars are pervasive, in addition to possessing absolute strength, we must also reach a tacit agreement with the big countries in order to achieve the state we want. These are some things we have realized over the years. Although power is indispensable, nothing can be done without power. Indeed, but Konoha itself is still being coveted by the four major powers, although I don't doubt that Konoha may reach a tacit understanding with you because of me. Satoru handed a cup of tea to Nagato, and chuckled lightly. And in fact, now we have reached a certain level of tacit agreement with the Land of Rain, but it is almost impossible to reach a tacit understanding with Yanyan village and Sandian village. That's why I took advantage of this opportunity. Nagato thanked him, took the tea, took a sip, and said seriously. It's already obvious what Yanyan village wants to do. After losing Hanzo, the land of rain is now like the land of grass in their eyes, and they can come here at will. If we don't take advantage of this war to show our strength and confirm the deterrence of Yanyan village, I am afraid that the scene of the three kingdoms fighting like the last war will appear in our country again in the near future. The recent movements of Hidden Sand Village are hardly a secret. They have done a lot of things in the country of Sichuan, and if they don't go to the country of rain, they are still afraid of Hanzo. Once Iwagakushi deters Konoha through the land of rain and the second battlefield starts, Sagakushi will definitely be aware of Hanzo's problem, and it is impossible for them to remain silent. But just brutally annihilating the forces of Union Village and Hidden Sand Village in one fell swoop, this is not in line with our will. Nagato paused for a moment before continuing. Our request is very simple, that is, let Konoha take the lead in acknowledging the neutral status of our Kingdom of Rain. When it comes to cooperating with Konoha, he still has some troubles in his heart. Isn't this an alliance with Konoha? Wu thought for a moment, then asked. I know your strength very well. It is not impossible to establish war deterrence, but have you ever thought about the consequences of forming an alliance? As a neutral country, the Iron Country does not ally with any country. No, not the same. Nagato shook his head, denying the statement of enlightenment. Allying with Konoha means that we must respond to Konoha's call for war and assist Konoha's war, but we will not actually leave the range of the Kingdom of Rain. So that's why, this is actually a matter of limited cooperation, and you will attack foreign forces within the Rain country without discrimination. As the defender, we, Konoha, will also keep the enemy out of the border, will not step into the range of the Land of Rain, and will not be regarded as an enemy by you. Enlightenment smiled, it seemed that they had already thought about this matter very clearly. However, I still want to remind you that the reason why the Iron Country can become a neutral country has historical reasons on the one hand. On the other hand, the living environment of their countries is not very good, and there are no major countries directly bordering them, so they will not become the center of conflicts among major powers. But the country of Rain obviously does not have such a condition. We understand, but we believe even more that our deterrence will be stronger than that of the Iron Kingdom. Our neutrality is to refuse any force to use us as a springboard to start a war. On the contrary, we will try our best to mediate the war. Nagato's sitting body leaned forward slightly. If Konoha wants to use us to attack Hidden Rock Village and Hidden Sand Village, we will also prevent it so, we don't ally with any country. Very good. Wu lightly clapped his hands, causing Nagato's face to turn red slightly. Senior brother Wu, I'm sorry, No, you are now a special envoy of the Kingdom of Rain, and you are discussing issues with me, the commander of the Konoha defense line. You only need to be responsible for your forces. There is emotion in Wu Wu's voice. What I mean is that you have found your own way of peace. As I said to Yahiko before, you have found what you should do through your own experience. However, with enough deterrence and the establishment of a neutral country, what do you think? If Sandyan and Yanyan recognize the neutral status of the Kingdom of Rain, in the next step, we want to carry out our will all along. Knowing that Satoru asked this question, Nagato agreed, and his mood became more relaxed, and he said with a smile. We have always pursued communication to solve problems. We hope that the Kingdom of Rain can become a platform for exchanges between the three major countries. Well, it's a good idea, but what theme do you plan to use to guide the peaceful exchanges between the three major powers? This, we haven't figured it out yet. Nagato scratched his head and had to smile wryly. It is not easy for the children to think about the step of neutrality and understand the interests involved. Besides, in this kind of matter, Mr. Kakuzu, who is the oldest, can't provide any help at all. Well, don't worry, After this war is over, maybe you will have a new understanding. How do your eyes feel? Wu looked at Nagato's reincarnation eyes and asked suddenly. I have awakened some abilities, which I call 6 paths, but I always feel that there are still some abilities. It seems that the time has not come. Nagato suddenly realized that their battle with Hanzo and Danzo, if the others had really been wiped out by enlightenment. Does it have something to do with reincarnation eyes? Thank you, Brother Wu. No need, Nagato, the eyes of reincarnation will not appear for no reason. When using it, do not enter the state of hysterical mental instability. Wu's exhortation made Nagato thoughtful. Could it be that some of the things I discovered before were not illusions? Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 258. Chapter 258 Uchiha is in a hurry, National Day 4th Update 57. Since the awakening of the eyes of reincarnation, Nagato has vaguely felt that the burden brought by these eyes is really a bit heavy. However, it is normal to pay a higher price for the divine power of samsara eyes. But what happened to the hysterical mental state mentioned by Brother Wu? Nagato, godlike power, you must have a matching state of mind to control it. Remember, don't let power control you. Satoru handed Nagato a special arcane crystal. Then, the matter of cooperation is settled like this. After I report to the third Hokage, I will go to discuss the details with you in person. Yes, thank you, Senior Brother Wu. Although he still has some doubts about the reincarnation eye that Wu said, Nagato has the confidence to control his own power. On the Sichuan defense line, a tragic battle broke out without warning. Sand Hidden Village and Yan Hidden Village, after secret negotiations, finally finalized the details of the raid against Konoha. But what even Yahiko and Nagato didn't expect was that the cunning Oniki did not choose to directly attack Konoha from the uncertain situation in the Land of Rain. In fact, the forces of Hidden Rock Village passed directly between the Kingdom of Earth and the Kingdom of Wind, the small country next to the Kingdom of Rain, the Country of Birds, and then joined forces with Hidden Sand Village. The coalition forces of the two countries, led by the 4th Kazekage Raza, the Puppet Master Cho, and the four-tailed Jinchuriki, directly attacked the Fire Country from the northern part of the River Country, near the border of the Rain Country. And this location is close to the border of the Country of Rain, where Konoha's defense force is relatively weak. This is the result of Sand Hidden Village paying a high price, constantly sending out spies, instigating the local forces of the Kawakuni, and attracting the attention of Konoha's defense forces to the Long Kawakura defense line. As the commander of the defense line, Uchiha Fugaku knew very well that Sand Hidden Village would take the initiative to attack sooner or later, but he never thought that they would join forces with Yan Hidden Village. When he found out, it was too late. Luo Sha, Cho, and Lao Zi, the strength of these three powerhouses alone makes Uchiha Fugaku completely unable to parry. Even if the Jonin of the Uchiha clan are generally stronger than ordinary ninjas, Uchiha Fugaku does have a powerful strength beyond that of ordinary elite ninjas, and it is useless. Uchiha Fugaku alone can hold back the youngest 4 generations of Kazekage Raza at most. Uchiha Mikoto and Yakushi Nanoyu, a pair of partners who have fought against many puppet masters, held Cho back. But the four-tailed Jinzolai Old Purple, no one can cure it for the time being. The current Lao Zi is not the perfect Renzhuli who can cooperate seamlessly with Four Tails in the later generations, and he has not even mastered Wrong Dun. But the huge Chakra and the powerful Fire Dun and Earth Dun give full play to the role of human pillar power on the battlefield, clearing the field. Moreover, as Renzhuli, Lao Zi has lived with Sai Wei for more than 20 years. Although they can't achieve perfect cooperation yet, there is one thing. The Sheri non-illusion, which the Uchiha clan is proud of, has very little effect on Lao Zi. This is also a feature of Kuriki the Tailed Orc, just like Wu's Book of Medivh, it can be actively reminded. Whenever Lao Zi is hit by an illusion, the 4 tails in his body will help him undo it, which really makes the elites of the Uchiha clan helpless. Although there will be a moment of stiffness after being hit by the illusion, the tailed beast chakra, and even the powerful power and defense of the tailed beast's coat can't hurt him at all. In fact, they were even more afraid of driving Lao Zi crazy, and being taken over by four tails and running out to destroy him. Others don't know, but Uchiha Fugaku knows very well what kind of destructive power a runaway tail beast can have. The Uchiha clan, but that's all. Luo Sha stood on top of the placer gold group, looking at Uchiha Fugaku, who was half kneeling on the ground. Uchiha Fugaku lowered his head, his body trembling slightly. He hugged Uchiha Jonin, who was no longer breathing. This is his best friend and his most staunch supporter. And now, in order to help Uchiha Fugaku resist Luo Sha's attack, he died in front of him. Then now, get out of this line of defense, otherwise, we don't mind killing you all. Mikan is right, she should have killed you in the first place. The blood-colored pupils, the rotating and changing three god jade, rotating, changing. Luo Sha's eyes flickered, and when he looked intently, Uchiha Fugaku's pupils were still slowly rotating three god jade. Illusion. Without thinking too much, Luo Sha's attention shifted to another name that Fuyu said. Mikan. This reminded him of some very bad memories when he was a ninja. Madam's regrets back then. Today, let me, the husband, settle it. Putting down his friend's body and looking around the battlefield, Uchiha Fugaku looked indifferently at the defense line, which was already on the verge of being broken under the joint raid of the Sand Hidden and Iwa Hidden troops. There is still a chance. Uchiha's glory cannot be desecrated. You are dreaming. Luo Sha stepped on gold dust and lifted into the sky, and the distorted gold dust storm attacked Uchiha Fugaku under his control. Sharingan, indeed, once gave me very unforgettable memories. Today I will completely destroy your eyes. Onaki, your attack today is extremely weak. On the border of the country of grass, Wu keenly discovered that the offensive of Yanyan village seems to be weaker than usual today. Humph. Archmage, haven't you noticed yet? That's right, your information is not delivered so fast. Onoki flew in the air, looked proudly at Wu, who was frowning slightly, and laughed loudly. Your other line of defense, I'm afraid it's about to be broken at this time. Ha ha ha. Don't look at me that way, it's war everything. Just like you did to us. As if stimulated by Satoshi's cold eyes, Onoji laughed wildly. So what if you stop us here? My Yanyan village never lacks troops. You are going to rescue. Then how long do you think this line of defense can hold without you? This is the best revenge for crucifying us here. Master Wu. Hinata rushed to Wu's side in a hurry. Urgent battle report. Kawa's defense line has been jointly raided by Sand Hidden Village and Iwa Hidden Village. The defense line of the police force led by the Uchiha Patriarch Uchiha Fugaku, is about to fail. Who is here to report? It's a Chunin sent by Uchiha Fugaku, but not from the Uchiha clan. Very good. Before Narashikageru left, although he confessed to the high-level Uchiha, including Uchiha Mikoto and Uchiha Fugaku, that they must ask for help through the portal if they have difficulties, but he obviously underestimated their pride as Uchiha. Help. The glory of the Uchiha clan does not allow them to do such a thing. Therefore, now that the defense line is in danger, the Uchiha clan was forced to help, and they did not send their own clansmen to ask for help. The Uchiha clan are all Tsundere monsters. Wu helplessly covered his forehead. But at least Uchiha Fugaku has not completely lost his mind, and now, there is still time. Could it be that Sharingan is really so poisonous that even Sister Mikan didn't come to ask for help immediately? This is a disease that needs to be cured. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 259. Chapter 259 Irresistible Power. There was such a big problem with the defense line in charge of the Uchiha clan. Hyuga Hinata felt a little bit of joy in his heart, and then he was quickly put out. He knew exactly what that meant. If it is true what the caller said, then the defense that he and others have insisted on for so long will be in vain. Looking up at the rampant Onaki, Hinata asked in a low voice. However, Master Wu, even if we divide the troops now, the quota for the portal is not enough, and what should we do here? With me here, do I still need the quota for the portal? Satoru's natural look made Hinata Hyuki at a loss for words. He remembered realizing the unreasonable mass teleportation. As for this side, Wu paused and asked. If there is no Onaki Kazuhan on the opposite side, can you hold on? Reluctantly, our strength is still too small compared to the opposite side. How about I leave a shadow clone and war mecha here to assist? No problem at all. Hinata Hinza looked at Satoru in shock. Are you going to? Well, let's do this, I'll go to support alone, you guys hold on. The mirror image clone appeared beside Wu, and patted Hinata Hinze on the shoulder. Gather the manpower, convey the order, and get ready to start. Yes. How about it, Archmage, have you discussed a countermeasure? Onoki didn't interrupt the communication between Satoru and Hinata Hinza. In fact, Onaki was still very surprised. When did Konoha's news channels become so well informed? However, thinking that this news would make the hateful young man on the opposite side into a mess, he felt a burst of joy. How long has it been? He is a majestic third-generation Tsuchikage, and for the first time in his life, he was deflated and educated by Konoha, that Uchiha clan bastard. And now that there is a chance to wipe out the Uchiha clan, by the way, educate this Konoha ninja who has stuck himself here and can't move, he is really. It's been a long time, Mr. 3 Tsuchikage. Wu's words interrupted his train of thought. He looked angrily at Wu's still disgusting smile, and snorted coldly. So, are you going to give up over there? No, it's not. As the nearest commander, I will definitely support there. Wu smiled and shook his staff, making Onoji sneer. And the five-tailed Jinzulihan also walked forward, sharing the same sky and the same ground with Onaki, watching Wu to death. Heh, if you want to leave, we really can't stop it, but your line of defense is ready to be broken by us in one fell swoop. Even if you release that war mech, it's useless without your assistance. Steam rose from Han's body. Although he still couldn't completely control the five tails, his strength was no worse than that of the four-tailed Jinchuriki. As a physical ninja, without Wu Satoru's assistance, he could hold back the war mecha by himself with his unparalleled strength. That's right, so, I don't intend to keep you here. On Wu's staff, the ice crystal gem had been replaced by a sparkling arcane crystal at some point. Just when Onoki and Han realized something was wrong, Satoru's spell had been completed. Teleport. Shoo. The dazzling arcane brilliance flashed, and the Yin and Konoha ninjas were shocked to find that the three strong men from the two armies had disappeared. Attack. Suppress them. Enlightenment's mirror image clone gave an order, and Hinata led the Konoha ninja to attack the chaotic Iwagakure ninja. The battle between Uchiha Fugaku and the 4th Kazekage Raza is still going on. What puzzled Luosha was that Uchiha Fugaku's combat power was much stronger than before. His pupil technique seems to have been upgraded. Whether it is illusion or dynamic vision, it is more than a little stronger. No matter how fast and tricky Luosha's attack is, he will calmly dodge it. Fortunately, his attack ability doesn't seem to have improved much. Although the cooperation of Uchiha Mikoto and Yakushi Nanu is not the opponent of Cho's Kinmatsu 10 people, it can still hold up for the time being. And Lao Zi, who could not be stopped by the elites of the Uchiha clan, was about to destroy the line of defense. Uchiha Fugaku couldn't help feeling a bit of regret. Should have asked for help earlier. And just when this thought arose, a bright light appeared in the center of the battlefield. Shoo! The light dissipated, and 3 figures appeared in place. 3 generations. Han. 3 generations of Dokage. Enlightenment. For a moment, the battlefield was stunned into silence by the 3 newcomers. Old Zi. What's going on? Onaki and Han were shocked when they saw Lao Zi and the completely different battlefield. Archmage. You. Onoji understood what was going on in an instant. Your Flying Thunder God technique can not only teleport yourself, but also teleport us. That understanding is correct, Lord Tukage, Mr. Han. Now, do I not have to worry about you two destroying my line of defense? You. Onoki never thought that the so-called method of enlightenment was actually this. Ridiculous. Haven't you thought about how strong we will be together? Onoki had already quickly exchanged glances with 4th Kazekage Raza, and he suddenly became confident again. There are 2 shadows, 2 Jinchurikis, and a top medical ninja and puppet master here. It's indeed a big problem. In fact, I didn't even think that you would make a detour instead of going to the Kingdom of Rain. Satoru glanced at the gloomy Uchiha Fugaku, and frowned. The feeling on this guy is a little different from before. Captain Fu, I'll be in charge of dismissing these guys, you'll be in charge of the finishing touches, isn't there a problem? No problem. Uchiha Fugaku's mood was mixed. Seeing Wu enter the stage in such an amazing way, although he was relieved, it also represented Uchiha's pride, in front of Wu, is not worth mentioning from now on. They always owe Wu a big favor. If you can't realize it, if this line of defense is breached, it won't be a good thing to wait for the Uchiha clan. Although many of the survivors of the Uchiha clan awakened to Sharingan because of this war, the huge sacrifice is also an undeniable fact. If this line of defense is lost, Uchiha Fugaku really doesn't know how to explain to Konoha. Well, if these guys fight here, this line of defense will be over. I'll take them away. Enlightenment. Wu Jun. Enlightenment turned to look at Nanoyo and Mikoto, who looked anxious, and smiled slightly. Good job, keep up the good work. Everyone, let's go. You. A bright light flashed, and the 4th Kazekage Raza, the sand-hidden advisor Cho, the 3rd Tsuchikage Onaki, the 4-tailed Jinchuriki Old Purple, and the 5-tailed Jinchuriki all disappeared in place. Uchiha Fugaku's face twitched, and complex patterns flashed across bloody eyes. Uchiha Police Force. Go all out and clean up the battlefield with me. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 260. Chapter 260. You tell me to stop. The border between the Land of Rain and Konoha. Under the dark, still raining sky, Yahiko, Nagato, and Konan were standing with Wu's mirror image. Jiaodu sits in Yuyan village, and the 3 young men were called out by Wu angrily. Brother Wu, I didn't expect things to turn out like this. Yahiko smiled wryly. Yanyan village actually bypassed our country of rain and teamed up with Sandian village. We are still too young to be completely deceived by them. Yanyan village was just pretending to be on the border of our land of rain before. They didn't want to take the risk of marching from the land of rain at all. Nagato is also full of disappointment. It seems that we still underestimated Hanzo's deterrent power, and we never thought that Sandian would choose to cooperate with Yanyan. So, our previous plan was a joke. Well, that's not necessarily the case. I didn't bring you here to chat. A few important people will come over later, perform well, and whether you can win the position of a neutral country depends on you. Ah! Before the words were finished, a dazzling light flashed, and a group of people appeared opposite them. The 3rd Tsuchikage, the 4th Kazekage, the consultant of Hidden Sand Village, and these 2 are. Xiaonan, who was in charge of intelligence, immediately recognized the group of horrified people who appeared. With the way Wu's mirror image brought them here, they naturally understood how this group of people appeared. This is, the Kingdom of Rain. Lao Zi, who had just left the country of rain not long ago, immediately noticed something wrong with the environment. You actually transferred us all to the land of rain, what on earth are you trying to do? Huh? Yahiko, he is the Iwagakure ninja who went to our village to investigate. Nagato narrowed his eyes, and recognized the special chakra full of scorching aura on Lao Zi. Chakra with 4 tails. Everyone. Yahiko regained his composure, knowing that it was time for him to show up. Welcome to the land of rain, I am the leader of Hidden Rain Village, Yahiko of Akatsuki. Xiao. The leader of Yuyan Village. Logosha and Onoji looked at each other, and frowned deeply. Where is that masked old man Hanzo? Cho was the first to stand up. She and Hanzo were old rivals. The previous intelligence suspected that there was something wrong with Hanzo. But with that guy's strength, she never expected that the position of leader of Yuyan Village would be replaced by a young boy. I've heard of Akatsuki, but you are just a non-governmental organization, and you can actually replace Hanzo in charge of Yuyan Village? Onaki glanced at the old god who was still there, and Rao was surprised by this news because he was the lord of Taing. What happened to Hanzo? Hanzo colluded with foreign enemies, intending to lead the country to war. Yahiko, Nagato, and Konan looked at each other, took a step forward, and faced the two shadows without fear. He has been cleared by us. What? The bosses of Shayin and Yanyin were shocked and did not mention it. Wu took back the mirror image and nodded secretly. This is the tacit understanding between him and Yahiko. Hanzo and Danzo colluded to destroy Akatsuki, who threatened his status, and then assassinated the third Hokage, starting a war. Akatsuki's strength was unexpected, and there was nothing she could do. Danzo intended to turn against the water, and Hanzo killed Danzo to silence him, but was seriously injured and hid. In order to maintain the peace of the motherland, and at the same time avenge the companions who were killed by Hanzo, Xiao practiced hard, killed Hanzo, and took control of Yuyan Village. No matter who investigates, this is the version of what happened. It has nothing to do with Konoha's Mito manga. He was busy fighting against Onoki, he didn't have time to pay attention to Akatsuki, Danzo, and Hanzo. As for now. Then why are you with the Archmage of Konoha? Logosha's eyes were cold and stern. When they teleported, the 3 of Yahiko were with Wu's shadow clone. Could it be that they joined forces? Master Tsuchikage of the 3rd generation, and the 2 of Iwagakure village, I don't need to say more about your invasion and harassment of our country. I don't care whether your purpose is to threaten Konoha or to target our country, since you have invaded our country and harmed our people, then you are invaders. Yahiko looked at Onoki's dark face, then turned to Logosha. 4th Kazekage-sama, and Cho-sama, I don't care about Hanzo's relationship with your hidden sand village when he was there. But in fact, even in the early stages of this war, your invasion of us has never decreased. Logosha remained silent. This is a fact. The small-scale wars between Yanyan village and Shayin village have never stopped in the land of rain. Comparatively speaking, as a bordering country, Konoha has not fought wars on our land. Normal tasks are another matter. Yahiko's momentum gradually increased, and his sharp eyes swept over Onaki and Logosha. Different from Hanzo, our philosophy of Xiao, I believe that if you have heard about our organization, you are also very clear. We are committed to resolving conflicts and wars through communication, not force. So, it's rare that everyone is here today, so I'll ask Konoha's great mage, Mr. Wu, to invite everyone to come here on my behalf. We want to try to mediate the war between the 3 great powers. Humph. What a joke. Grumpy Onoki was the first to blow up. Mediation. Kid, who do you think you are? What qualifications do you have to mediate the war between the 3 great powers? He lifted his feet off the ground and lifted himself into the air. Even if it's Hanzo, he doesn't have the qualifications. What's more, you little brat. That's right, war is not a joke, it can be stopped if you say it stops. Luosha crossed her arms and frowned at Yahiko, who was unmoved. Are you the leader of Hidden Rain Village? Is there no one left in Hidden Rain Village? The reason why we didn't attack Konoha from Hidden Rain Village is just because of scruples about Hanzo. There are layers of gold dust floating under his feet, dragging his body off the ground. If I had known that you were hiding behind the scenes, the place where we met would be here. I am afraid that by now, it has already hit beyond Konoha. Ah, you guys are really confident. Satoru shrugged, glanced at the unlucky Kazekage who was killed by the shell-changing Orochimaru in the original timeline, and complained. Chief Yahiko, it seems that not only do they not want to accept mediation, but they also don't want to recognize your status. Master, do you recognize their status? Can you represent the 3 generations of Hokage? Onoki said coldly. You are not Hokage. Here, the handwriting of the 3 Hokages. Satoru took out a scroll and shook it at Onoji and Luosha. It's raining too much, so I won't open it, but this is the handwriting of the 3rd Hokage. Congratulations to the leader of Akatsuki, Yahiko, for taking over the Yin village. Replacement as fake. Seeing Onoki's and Luosha's darkened faces, Satoru laughed viciously. Now that Yahiko and the others have made plans, why didn't he prepare in advance? Hiruzuru Sarutobi agreed with the mirror image clone after a little thought. So, this mediation, I can fully represent Konoha.